Greetings, everybody, and once again, welcome into Hobart-Detter Field in Hutchinson, Kansas. It's time for Hutchinson Community College baseball on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. This afternoon, the Blue Dragon baseball team gets set to take on the number 13 ranked and Jayhawk West first place Barton Cougars in the final two games of this four-game conference series. Steve Carpenter with you from a rather pleasant Hobart-Detter Field. It's mostly cloudy. The wind was blowing out of the north, has shifted around to the south a little bit, or at least the flag is starting to blow that way, so the wind might be shifting. But a very pleasant day here at Hobart-Detter Field. Not the hurricane force ones we had over a week ago when North Iowa area was in here and Butler was in here. When we saw those offensive fireworks, we expect to see two pretty good ball games. Barton has taken the first two games of this series. They defeated Hutchinson at Lawson Biggs Field in Great Bend on Thursday by the scores of 8-5 and then 13-12 in 12 innings. Blue Dragons came from way down in that second game to force extra innings, lost the lead in extra innings, and ultimately lost it in the 12th. So the Blue Dragons find themselves in a precarious situation a little bit. Barton at first place in the Jayhawk West at 8-2. Colby and Butler have more wins, but Barton also has 4 games in hand. So by percentage points, Barton is in first base. But Hutchinson and Cloud County are tied for fourth at 7-7. So the Dragons get set to take on the Cougars. Your game one pitching matchup for the Blue Dragons, it's freshman right-hander Miguel Reyes, a 3-3 record and a 5.01 ERA. And for Barton, it is Zach Curry, a freshman right-hander, 1-0 record with a 6.23. The umpires are already coming out, so we're going to jump right into our pregame chat with head coach Ryan Schmidt and be right back after this. Carpenter speaking with the skipper of the Blue Dragons, Ryan Schmidt, before this doubleheader in the Jayhawk West with the Barton Cougars. I'm going to guess that probably the Schmidt family vacation won't take place at any amusement park because you got to be sick of this roller coaster ride right now.
It is definitely a roller coaster. I think that's a very good way to describe it. We've got so many variables. We play really good. We play really bad. We've got injuries. We've got all the excuses in the book. We've got everything working against us. We've had some bad luck. We've had some good luck, and yet we're still in position to win baseball games. And we just haven't found a way to. On the first day we didn't find a way to get that done. And now we're in a corner now in this series, and now we gotta keep fighting and take the lid off a home plate and try to find a way to get some runs across.
And it's really not just one thing. One game the offense could be going to pitching and the defense not. Other games it's been the offense not coming through the clutch. You've always had runners on base, just not coming with the big hits, and then the pitching's okay. So how do you just how do you approach this with the kids and trying to get them to play through this?
We had more of a team meeting yesterday than we did a practice, and the reason that we did that was the day before we played 19 innings of baseball, and kids got 12 and 13 at bats, and they were on their feet all day, and so we just met as a team, and we talked about some things that I was seeing as a coach and some things that we were seeing within our team, and just tried to slow everything down for us and just kind of let us know where we're at and where we need to go from here. We've got really good players that are very talented and that just need to learn their identity a little bit more and to learn who we are as a club and where we're going as a team. And so that's what we've been doing, is just try to teach them and coach them and love them and get after them when we're supposed to. And the biggest thing, nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to keep going out there and giving our best and making sure we don't lose our fire and realize that this can be a vicious, brutal game sometimes, and you just got to live with it. And it'll make you better in the end if you can weather these little storms we're going through.
Speaking with Ryan Schmidt before this afternoon's doubleheader with the Cougars, Brent Biggs got the Cougs playing very well, top of the Jayhawk Conference, and they're kind of setting the pace right now, aren't they?
No doubt. They can pitch at a high level. They can defend at a high level. They outplayed us in all three phases the other day. The place that they really beat us was with 2 strikes, whether it was on the mound or whether it was when they were hitting. That's what they beat us in. They beat us in the 2-strike hitting. They beat us when our pitchers had 2 strikes. They were winning that war. We weren't. And so Brent Biggs has done a great job with this program, and he's got them playing at an extremely high level. They deserve to be at the conference. They deserve to win those games the other day. It's going to be everything we got to get back at them today.
Pitching-wise, again, several people are on the shelves. Many people aren't aware of that. We can't obviously go into the details of that, but are you trying to tell these your kids who are available, this is a great opportunity for you to shine and show us for the future?
No doubt, and they got to realize that their future's now too, because it's not a question about their stuff. It's a question about them trusting their stuff. I don't care. I tell guys all the time, I don't care if it's Robinson Cano, Buster Posey. You put any big leaguer in that blank space, and if you pitch to him, he might hit 9 out of the park out of 10, and he might fly out to the track on that 10th one. And you can sit there and say you got Robinson Cano out and you got Buster Posey out, and they're the best hitters in the game. And our guys just aren't pitching with that confidence. They're not pitching with that, with that kind of swagger out there. That their stuff plays. That they can get outs. That they don't have to throw 2 pitches with 2 strikes. That you go at them. Make them swing the bat. Throw the ball over the plate. We don't have to throw 2 nibbling pitches or 2 pitches off the plate with 2 strikes. Go get them. Because I don't think they have – Bonar might be over 500, but I don't think they got a guy hitting over 500, so the odds are in your favor. And that's the thing that we constantly teach here in junior college, is just getting guys to understand that the odds are in your favor, and you got to let it eat over the plate.
Case in point, your game 1 starter, Miguel Reyes, lightning stuff. It's just a guy who's really has yet to put it together. So, I mean – That speaks to just what you spoke of before.
You betcha, and I love it. He's got electric stuff. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. It's electric stuff. It's dynamic, fastball slider combination with some conviction behind it. Here's the difference: if you see Miguel Reyes throwing baseball below the knee today, we're going to have a great day for the Blue Dragons. If he's above the knee, he's going to be just like everybody else. And so the stuff that's going to make him great, the stuff that's going to make his electric fastball and his electric slider better is if he throws it below the knee. If he throws it above the knee, that's when we get into trouble.
Lastly, who starts the final game of the series today?
Mike Brown, who's coming off of a really good outing at Butler for us. He's going to go hold it down in Game 4.
Best of luck. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday.
Thank you very much.
The thoughts of ACC head coach Ryan Schmidt back with their starting lineups in this afternoon's opening pitch. This is Blue Dragon Baseball. And welcome back to Hobart-Detter Field, everybody. Steve Carpenter with you ahead of game number 3, the first game of this doubleheader, but game number 3 of this 4-game Jayhawk West series between the Hutchinson Blue Dragons and number 13 ranked Barton Cougars. The Blue Dragons right now mired in a 3-game losing streak. They've also had a 4-game losing streak this season. The Cougars coming in winners of 3 consecutive games. Let's get to the starting lineups for game number 1. First for Brett Biggs, Barton Cougars leading off and playing third base will be Dawson Pomeroy. Caden Fowler bats second and will play right field. Batting third and playing first base, Carson Engroff. Batting in the cleanup spot and doing the work behind the blade today, the hot-hitting Brett Bonar. Batting fifth and playing left field will be Brady Michael, again batting fifth and playing left field. Batting sixth, the second baseman, Brett Erickson. The designated hitter, Jared Manis, bats seventh. Batting eighth will be the shortstop, Paul Clausen. Batting ninth and playing center field, Harrison Dank. Getting the start for the Cougars in game number one, Zach Curry, a freshman right-hander, a 1-0 record, and a 6.23 earned run average. So for the Cougars, it is Pomeroy, Fowler, Engroff, Bonar, Michael Erickson, Manus, Clausen, and Dank, and Zach Curry on the mound. For the Blue Dragons, 14-12 overall, 7-7 in the Jayhawk. This is how Ryan Schmidt will line it up in game number one. Leading off will be the shortstop, Dylan Nedved. Batting second, a 10-game hitting streak in tow, is second baseman Logan Sartori. Batting third, left fielder Bobby Morganson, the sophomore. Batting fourth will be the catcher Garrett Stevens. Designated hitter today will be Ryan Moritz. He bats fifth. Batting sixth and playing third base, Crit Williams. Right fielder Zion Bolin bats seventh for the Blue Dragons. Batting eighth will be the first baseman Ryan Steckline. And batting ninth and playing center field, Julian Ripp. Miguel Reyes Jr., a freshman right-hander, gets the start. He is 3-3 with a 5.01 earned run average, making his sixth start of the year for the Blue Dragons. A kid with dynamite stuff. So the Dragons are waiting for him to put it all together because his stuff is electric. He just needs to start trusting it. So for Ryan Schmidt's Blue Dragons, it is Nedved, Sartori, Morganson, Stevens, Moritz, Williams, Bolin, Steckline, and Ripp, and Miguel Reyes Jr. on the mound. The Blue Dragons being announced, then we'll have the starting lineups in this one. Again, the Dragons looking to get a couple today to split this series with the first place Barton Cougars. Again, Barton in first place at 8-2, Colby at 9-3, Butler at 9-5. Real quickly around the Jayhawk, again, these series all started on Thursday. Today, Cloud County's at Seward County. Right now, that's series 1-1. We'll get into the scores a little bit later. Pratt is at Butler today at McDonald Stadium. Those two teams have split. And then today at Williams Stadium in Garden City, it will be Dodge City and the Broncbusters. Those teams split the first two games of their series. Again, these series now this year, 2 games on Thursday at one site, 2 games on Saturday at the other. So the Blue Dragons getting set to take on the Barton Cougars. Miguel Reyes Jr. heading out there. And it's now time for our national anthem. We'll take a break and return with the opening pitch. This is Blue Dragon Baseball. Our national anthem from Hobart-Detter Field. It's Steve Carpenter with you. Nathan Light on the camera. Brandon Sams running the controls this afternoon here on the stream. Blue Dragons and the Cougars. And for the Blue Dragons, they're kind of in a precarious state right now in the Jayhawk West. They trail the Cougars by 5 games in the loss column. Hutchinson 7-7, Barton 8-2, but the Cougars have 4 games in hand. meaning they've already had their bye week. Hutchinson's is coming up in a couple of weeks. So just a half a game behind in the win column, but 5 games behind in the loss column. So the Dragons really need a split today to keep themselves in legitimate contention. Not that if they split today, they wouldn't be out of contention. They don't lose any ground today. But the Dragons really would like, the defending Jayhawk West champion Dragons would like to keep their deficit right here, and that before the week started, and that would be getting a sweep today of the Cougars. Cougars coming in, hitting a very, very solid 353, 24 home runs. Several players hitting well over 300, and they'll face Miguel Reyes, 6'2", 250-pound freshman out of Lafayette, Louisiana. 3-3 record, a 5.01 ERA. He has 1 complete game, 23 in the 3rd innings pitched, 29 hits, 19 runs, 13 have been earned. He has struck out 24 and walked 6, but opponents hitting 299 against. So here we go. First pitch of the ball game. It is Dawson Pomeroy against Miguel Reyes. Thanks for joining us here on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. First pitch right down the chute, coming at 101. It's a strike, and we are underway on a pretty nice Saturday afternoon to Hobart-Detter Field. Why is Reyes into the wind? Just misses a little bit low. It's 1-1. Dawson Pomeroy in the first 2 games of this series, 2 for 9. He's scored 3 runs. Pomeroy for the season hitting .211, 20 hits. Ground ball up the middle. And Pomeroy has his 3rd hit of the series, a single up the middle on a 1-1 pitch. Then I'll bring up right fielder Caden Fowler. Fowler just absolutely annihilating the baseball right now with a .510 batting average, 53 hits, 14 doubles, 5 triples, 5 home runs, on base at .557, slugging .885. He's driven in 32 and scored 45 runs. Showing bunt, and Reyes delivers a strike. Dragons lost the first 2 games of this series, 8-5 and 13-12 in 12 innings on Thursday. Cougars stole 3 bases. There's a shot toward the gap in right center field, and it may climb and hit high off the wall. Pomeroy already coming around third. There might be a play. Here comes Sartori's throw. It's a little bit up the line. And just like that, the Cougars are on top 1-0. Caden Fowler continues to blister the baseball and just missed a home run by a matter of just a couple of feet, hitting high off the right center field wall. An inauspicious start for the Blue Dragons in this one. So Fowler with his 15th double and 33rd RBI. That'll bring up Carson Ingroff, the first baseman. Ingroff hitting .386 with 27 hits, a home run and 17 driven in. Miguel Reyes' last start, not a good one either. Last Saturday at Butler. And a 5-4 loss in game number 1. As we'll have to do a little bit of field maintenance. That second base bag popped out of the standard that holds it in. Reyes last Saturday against Butler, and again in that 5-4 loss, went 3 in the 3rd innings and took the loss, allowed 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Struck out 3 and walked 2. Great fastball, great slider, but he has to work below the knee to be effective. Anything up, he has just been getting hit, and hit hard by opponents. First pitch to Ingroff was that slider in the dirt. Good stop by Garrett Stevens. We'll set the Dragon defense for you. Outfield left to right, Bobby Morganson, Julian Ripp, and Zion Bolin. At third base will be Crit Williams getting the start today. Up the middle has been pretty solid. Dylan Nedved and Logan Sartori. Nedved at short, Sartori at second. Ryan Steckline gets a start at first, and Garrett Stevens is the catcher. 1-0 pitch. Fouled at the plate. That pitch went right in on the hands of Engroff when he fought it off. And the count now even at 1-1. The outing before against Cloud County on March 9th, Reyes earned the victory in an 11-1 run rule victory. That was his one complete game of the year for Reyes. Miguel steps off. Reyes went 5 innings in that run rule game, allowed just 2 hits, 1 unearned run, struck out 3, and walked 1. In essence, Miguel Reyes is just now learning how to pitch. And there's where these struggles come in. Slider, another good block by Garrett Stevens. Engroff didn't chase, and it's 2-1. Engroff on Thursday was 3 for 8 in the first 2 games of that doubleheader. Both are all hit singles. He drove in a pair and scored 2. Also walked once. The pitch. There's that lightning fastball. Engroff laid on it, and it's 2-2. You just wonder why the consistency isn't there yet. Again, he's learning how to pitch. He's always been able to blow fastballs by people. But at this level, that's not always going to happen. In fact, fastballs will get hit more times than not. He has to learn other ways to get people out. Bluff move by Reyes to second, retreating is Fowler. Again, Barton on top, 1-0. Caden Fowler with an RBI double after Dawson Pomeroy singled. Logan Sartori in for a quick word. We talked about this being a roller coaster ride for the Dragons, and indeed it has. They have been very streaky. Here's Reyes 2-2. In the dirt again. Another good stop by Stevens, who's had some problems with letting balls get past him. He's been tagged with 10 pass balls so far this season, but he's been a brick wall on those 3 sliders in the dirt so far this afternoon. Now the count full on Engroff. Here's the payoff. Got him swinging. First strikeout, first out of the game for Miguel Reyes. And that pitch had nasty location and nasty stuff, and that's exactly what we're talking about when we say lightning stuff and talking about Miguel Reyes. Now Brett Bonar, the catcher. Bonar hitting .441, 27 hits, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. First lefty that Reyes will face. Reyes, when facing left-handed batters, is allowing .414 average. He's .250 against right-handed batters. Breaking pitch just misses a little bit low. Not a bad miss, but he's down in the count 1-0. This is Reyes' 4th conference start. The pitch. That one's in the dirt and kicks away from Stevens. Moving up to third on the wild pitch is Caden Fowler. And it's 2-0 on Bonar. Reyes in his first conference start took the loss. In a 5-1 loss to Colby. 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, 5 runs. The pitch. Reyes paints the outside corner with the fastball. 2-1 to Bonar. And we talked about the complete game performance against Cloud, and then the last outing 1 week ago at McDonald Stadium against the Butler Grizzlies. Here's the 2-1. All right, chopped foul at the plate. Nobody reacted, but that was actually a fair ball until it trickled foul. Ryan Steckline retrieves and chucks it back to the dugout. Now it's 2-2 to the Cougar catcher. Reyes with a runner at third goes back to the windup. That pitch just missed the outside corner, and it's 3-2. So 2 straight batters now that Miguel Reyes has ran full to the payoff to Bonar. Lost him. Just tried to overthrow it and ditch the pitch. Now it's runners at the corners with one out. And potentially a big inning setting up for Barton. There's left fielder Brady Mitchell. Mitchell 2 for 7 in the first 2 games of the series, and Ryan Schmidt recognizes something, so he's going to pop out to the dugout and talk to his pitcher. And I guarantee you, the entire infield's in there, but there's only one person talking, and that'd be Ryan Schmidt. So the Cougs on top 1-0. Pomeroy led up with a single up the middle. Fowler just missed a home run, doubling off the right center field wall. That allowed Pomeroy to score all the way from first. Egengroff struck out on a 3-2 pitch, and Bonar then walked on a 3-2 pitch. And in the Bonar at bat, Fowler moved up to third on a wild pitch by Miguel Reyes. For Reyes, that is wild pitch number 3, and for the Blue Dragon pitchers, that is wild pitch number 35. .58 degrees, actually now 61 degrees to start the afternoon. Reyes misses a little bit low to Mitchell. Pitch number 18 of the inning. The Dragons had hoped for pitching depth to be improved this year, but injuries have depleted the pen quite a bit. Actually, not just the pen, but the entire staff. There's the slider low and outside, 2-0. I've said it many times on our broadcast, but the learn curve for a freshman pitcher might be as big as any particular position in collegiate sports. There's just so much more. You just can't go out and overpower people anymore. That fastball is right at the knees for a strike, and it's 2-1. When you're in high school and playing summer ball, club ball, and you've got an electric arm, you can just sit there and pump fastball after fastball after fastball and get people out. Maybe throw in a changeup, maybe throw in a slider to really make a batter look bad. Doesn't happen at this level. 2-1. Great pitch on the inside corner. It's a 2-2 count now to Mitchell. The case in point to that, and it's a direct case in point, is former Blue Dragon pitcher Kyle Simons. He went through the freshman learn curve, really battled through his freshman year. Didn't pitch badly for the first 2/3, but didn't pitch great. The pitch grounded to third. Cret Williams goes to second for one. Sartori to first. That's a double play, and the inning is over. So Miguel Reyes coaxes Mitchell to ground into a 5-4-3 inning double play. But the Cougars get one on 2 hits. And after half inning, it's Barton 1 and the Blue Dragons coming up. Right-hander Zach Curry taking his first warm-up tosses of the afternoon. Curry is a 6'1", 180-pound right-hander from Ottawa, Kansas. He is making his 5th start, 8th overall appearance, a 1-0 record with a 6.23 earned run average. 21 2/3 innings pitched, 18 hits, 18 runs, 15 earned, He has struck out 25 in those 21 innings, but has walked 15. He faces a Blue Dragon lineup that is hitting .316 as a team, but it's been an up and down .316. Dylan Nedved to lead it off, and he takes ball one. Nedved, the freshman out of Shawnee, chopper to second base. Fielded by Brett Erickson, and he throws in time, one away. So Nedved retired. Nedved coming into the game, hitting .393 with 42 threats. Now second baseman Logan Sartori, a 10-game hitting streak for Sartori. 23 for 45 over that streak, a .511 average, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs. He's also scored 23 runs. Curry misses low and outside, ball one. For the season now, Sartori hitting a team-high .420 with 42 hits, 7 home runs, and 31 RBIs. Another slider misses, and it's 2-0. He has been on a tear the last 10 games. In the dirt, 3-0. In that 10-game streak, he has 2 4-hit games, 2 3-hit games, and 2 2-hit games. .30 is right through there, and it's 3-1 to Sartori. The current Jayhawk Conference Player of the Week, Sartori, swinging a pitch up and in, and it's fouled back off the side of the press box, and Curry has ran the count from 3-0 back to full at 3-2. Barton with a 1-0 lead as the hot-hitting Caden Fowler doubles in Dawson Pomeroy. Those were the first 2 batters of the game, and that's how we sit. The pitch lifted high, a mile high to shallow left, coming in as Mitchell. But it's the shortstop Clausen making the catch, and there's 2 away. Sartori retired, and that'll bring up sophomore Bobby Morganson, a career 112 hits now for Bobby. Hitting .356 for the year, 8 home runs, 24 RBIs. Morganson, who had an inside-the-park home run on Thursday in the first inning at Great Bend. First pitch hacking, and it's fouled back. Morganson in the series, hitting 4 for 8, a double, 2 home runs, and 5 RBIs. One was out of the park, one was in the park. Curry's pitch. Grounded up the middle. Second baseman Erickson dives, but he can't get up and make the play nearly in time. It'll be an infield single for Bobby Morganson, his career 113th hit, and the Dragons have their first hit of the afternoon on a single to the so now runner first 2 away for Garrett Stevens. Stevens had a grand slam on the Game 2 comeback on Thursday. Hutchinson was down 10-3, and they rallied back. Part of that rally was a grand slam by Stevens. There was some question. There's a shot to right center field. Morganson will head to third as Caden Fowler will cut it off. It's a 2-out single for Stevens on the first pitch, and the Dragons now have the tying run to third base with 2 out. So Garrett continues to swing a really nice bat, a line drive to right center field. Morganson goes first to third, and that'll bring up designated hitter Ryan Moritz. Ryan Moritz hitting .288, a home run, 14 driven in. 1 for 3 in the series so far. And Curry misses outside, ball 1. Garrett Stevens came into the game hitting .333. That was his 23rd hit of the year. So the Dragons threaten to tie it up. It's going to take a 2-out knock from Moritz, and he's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Morganson gets his lead at third. Stevens from first. Curry comes set, now delivers. Good swing by Moritz, and it's fouled back. 2-1 the count now to the Dragon designated hitter. Moritz is hitting 2 straight. High chopper right side. Erickson fields on the big hop, throws over, and the Dragons are turned away in the first. Couple of 2-out hits, but they can't cash in, and after 1 inning at Hobart-Detter Field, it's the Cougars 1 and the Dragons nothing. Welcome back to Hobart-Detter Field, everybody. 1-0 Barton on top. A first inning single. It'll be Brett Erickson, Jared Maneth, and Paul Clausen to hit lead off here in the second. High pop by Brett Erickson, and will get out of play. And it's 0-1 the count to Erickson. Erickson in the first 2 games of the series was 2 for 8, a couple of RBIs. Reyes into the wind and tries to go inside with the slider, misses, and it's 1-1. Erickson coming into the afternoon hitting .359, 7 doubles, 2 triples, and 13 RBIs. The pitch. Slider misses low and away, and it's 2-1. And pitch is low and away, and the last thing that Miguel wants to do is start walking leadoff batters. Leadoff man reached in the first VI base hit came around. Almost seemingly all year, the leadoff walk has come around. High pop to shallow center. In comes Julian Ripp. He's got it for the first out. So a nice pitch on 3-1 to retire Erickson. Cougars had an inning set up. They had runners at the corners and 1 out. And then Miguel Reyes got Mitchell to ground into an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play. Crit Williams to Logan Sartori to Ryan Steckline. Pitch high and tight to Jared Maneth. Each team with 2 hits, but the Cougars have the only run. Bound back to the netting. Count even to the ball on the strike. Each of the other Jayhawk West series split on Thursday. Foul back over the press box again, and now it's 1-2 to Maneth. The Cloud-Seward series was in Concordia on Thursday. Cloud took the first game 5-4, but the Saints run ruled the T-Birds 14-0 in the second game. 1-2 pitch. Hit him. 1-2 pitch, and he drills Maneth. And again, that's probably the freshman part of this, learning how to pitch. Tried to go inside and got away from him. So a runner at first, 1 away for the shortstop, Paul Clausen. Clausen 2 for 9. Every Cougar starter had at least one hit on Thursday. They had 29 hits, including 19 in the second game. Pitch taken a little bit low, and it's ball 1. The Cougars out-hit the Dragons 29-22 in the first 2 games on Thursday. Hutchinson had 4 home runs to the Cougars 2. That's a well-delivered pitch for a strike. See if Reyes can get another double play ball out of this like he did to get out of the first. The pitch lifted to center field toward right center. Going back is Julian Rip. He'll chase down into the alley, make the catch. Going about 2/3 of the way down is Maneth. He'll return, and there's 2 away. Then it'll bring up center fielder Harrison Dank. Dank in the first 2 games, 3 for 7, 4 RBIs, 4 runs scored. Now for the year, hitting .333. Takes strike 1. So Miguel a little bit better on getting ahead batters this inning. He has, we'll say it again, we've said it before, and we'll say it again, just electric stuff. When he finally learns to figure this thing out, look out. Nasty slider misses inside and a little bit low, and it's 1-1. Maneth gets his lead from first. Reyes is 1-1. A little bit low, and it's 2-1. A lot of talk around the league this year about the strike zone. It's been of the smallish variety. And the pitch. Big cut and miss, and it's 2-2. Strike zones have been consistently small through the first now 4 weeks of league play. We've seen elevated run counts because of it. While true, the Jayhawk West possesses a lot of great offense, pitching's not as bad as what it's shown. 2-2 pitch, off the plate, wide, full count. Maneth will be on the move with the pitch, 3-2, 2 out. Steckline will not hold him. He'll play off. Reyes comes set. Runner goes, 3-2 pitch. Grounded right back up the middle, and it gets into center field for a hit. Maneth goes first to third, and the Cougars have him on the corners with 2 out. Now it's back to the top of the order in Dawson Pomeroy. He singled just like Dank did, right back up the box. Garrett Stevens is going to throw some defensive signs out. Cougars like to do a lot with their running game, so possibly a double steal, double delay steal. And the Dragons want to make sure their defense is set for anything. So Pomeroy now 3 hits in the series. Breaking pitch of beauty for strike 1. 1-0 Barton, and they threaten for more with 2 out here in the top of the second. The wind is blowing in directly from center field. Momentarily was coming out of a different direction, but it's right back to the north. Pitch in the dirt, good stop by Stevens. He fakes a snap throw and chases Dank back at first. Now it's a ball on the strike to Pomeroy. Pomeroy had a big series last year against the Dragons. Had 10 hits in that 4-game set. All those games played right here at Hobart-Detter Field. 1-1. Sliced and scattered some Blue Dragon fans along the left field fence. Nobody hit. But it made some pulses climb a little bit. Now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Pomeroy. Reyes comes set. Pomeroy fights off that good pitch, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're talking about the freshman learn curve. This is where you have to learn how to pitch. You're not going to, at a 1-2 count, advantage count. You got to figure out different ways to get batters out. Dent getting a pretty good lead over at first. He may be going. He does. Pitches outside. Stevens doesn't throw down. It'll be a stolen base for Dink. Now it's 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. Dink steals Barton's 4th base of the series. And he is now 5 for 6 on the season. So now 2 in scoring position for Pomeroy with the 2-2 count. And if you're Miguel Reyes, this is where you really want to challenge and deliver. You don't want to work the count full despite first base being open. Here's the 2-2. A little bit low, maybe just a touch inside, and he does run it full. 5th batter that Miguel Reyes has gone full to in the first 10 he's faced. Working out of the windup. Here's the payoff. High chopper right side. Sartori has it on the Steck line at first, and the Dragons get out of the jam with no runs scored. No runs, a hit, 2 left after an inning and a half. It's the Cougars 1 and the Dragons nothing. One nothing Dragons as Crit Williams leads off the home half of the second for Hutchinson. Steve Carpenter with you here on the network. And Crit Williams takes outside ball 1 from Zach Curry. Curry gave up a couple of hits in the first inning to Morganson and Stevens, but left him on base. Crit fouls that one off toward the parking lot. Crit Williams, the sophomore, hitting 143, making his 4th start, 11th game of the year. Swings over the top of that off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2. Crit 2 for 14. Has scored 7 runs, driven in 2. Both hit singles. 1-2 pitch. Taken a little bit low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dragons continue to look for answers at third base. Got him swinging. That's the first strikeout for Zach Curry, and there's one away here in the Dragons' second. Now right fielder Zion Bolin. Bolin in the first 2 games of the series, a couple of singles, 2 for 8 overall. Zion now hitting .277 for the year, a home run and 11 RBIs, 4 doubles, 4 triples. 4 triples tied for the team league, and fooled on that pitch, and he taps it foul at the plate. Big day in the state of Kansas in terms of sports. Blue Dragon baseball just a part of it. Breaking pitch for a strike, and Bowling's down the count, 0-2. Of course, the biggest one is the NJCA National Championship game at the Sports Arena. That one slice foul. I have to say that because one of the executive directors is sitting right next to me in Ricky Webster's. But Hutchinson's always been proud to have that tournament here. Now the 70th year. There's a swing and a miss. Bowling goes down on strikes. Bonar will deliver down to first to complete the out, and there's 2 away. Back-to-back strikeouts. Of course, everybody talking about KU and K-State in the Elite Eight. And I know my trusty sidekick down the way, he does have his Dragon stuff on right now, but I'm sure in about 3 hours that's going to be shed for some purple. I'm referring to Denny's tech line.
509 tip-off. I said PA might go silent.
A K-State grad is Denny's tech line. Ryan's tech line at the plate. He takes high for ball 1. Rhino hitting 172, 5 for 29, couple of home runs, 4 RBIs. Takes high and tight. And count now 2-0. First 2 games of the series on Thursday in Great Bend. Stack line was 0 for 9. Struck out 5 times. Foul back out of play, and it's 2-1. With the injuries that have plagued this Blue Dragon team, right now the Dragons without Wyatt Dibbs, Zach Baxley, and first the pitch. Grounded to second. Erickson a couple of steps to his right has it. And it's a very quick 1-2-3 inning. We'll talk about the Dragon injuries in a little deeper in the next half inning. Dragons go in order in the second after 2. It's Barton 1 and Hutchinson 0. On to the third here at Hobart-Detter Field. Barton with a 1-0 lead. Miguel Reyes back to work, and the hot-hitting Caden Fowler steps in. Strike called. Fowler right now, the reason Barton has a 1-0 lead, he doubled high off the right center field wall to drive in Dawson Pomeroy. Pitch taken outside. Bonar now in the series, or excuse me, not Bonar, but Fowler in the series, 6 for 10. Entered the afternoon hitting .510. Has 46 hits, 15 doubles, 33 RBIs. Strike called, and Fowler's down to the count of ball and 2 strikes. Reyes' pitch got him swinging, 1 away. Second strikeout for Reyes. He is now 2 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. Here's Carson Engroff. He's a strikeout victim his first time. Talking about the Blue Dragon injuries. The Dragons basically middle third of the order is on the shelf right now. In Wyatt Dibbs, Zach Baxley, and Riley Metzger. Slider taken outside for a ball, and it's 1-0. That NJCA person I was referring to is Ricky Webster. And see if I can get him on the next half inning. We'll chat a little bit about his first experience in the Salt City. I think he's had a good time. Glad his first time he got to see the Blue Dragons in the tournament because it is special. There's a swing and a foul ball by Ingroff, and it's 2-1 the count. First two batters of the game is where Barton produced their first run. Reyes has battled since. That one's hit to right toward the line, hooking foul, and it will slice out of play. Coming up after this one, the 9-inning game, be about 25 minutes after the completion of this one. 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Ingroff, he checked it, and it's a full count. So that's now 6 batters in the first 12 that Miguel has gone full to. Here's the 2-2, 3-2 was ball 4. Scoreboard had 2-2. Second walk allowed, also a hit batsman, so that's 3 free ones for Reyes. Runner first one away for Brett Bonar. He walked his first time up. Reyes' pitch count up to 57 through 2 1/3 innings, 30 for strikes. Once again, out of the stretch, Reyes comes set and delivers. Slider swung and foul tipped, and it's 0-1. K-State plays Loyola tonight in the Final Four. That's about 5 o'clock. Pitch outside, and it's 1-1. KU plays Duke in the battle of college basketball blue bloods tomorrow from Century League Center in Omaha. Almost thought about driving to Omaha, calling in a favor, and getting a ticket for that game, but my wife would probably divorce me, so I think I'll stay in town tomorrow. 1-1, breaking pitch outside, 2-1 to Bonar. Wind blowing in from the north, around 10 miles an hour, a bit gusty. Nothing like the gale force winds we had a week ago here. Pitch taken a little bit low, 3-1. Through this growth process of Miguel Reyes, he has gone through many wild spurts like this, and he seemingly locked himself back in for a few batters. Lost in back-to-back walks with 1 out here in the 3rd. See if that draws a visit, and indeed Ryan Schmidt bounces out of the dugout. And we'll have one of those, the entire infield around him, but a very one-sided talk we have come to know over Ryan Schmidt's 6 seasons. Schmidt came here from Pratt, was starting to build that program up when the Blue Dragons called and hired him. He has a couple of Jayhawk West titles, had last year's team ranked as high as number 3 in the nation. Won the Jayhawk West again for the 2nd time, also won it back in 2014 in his 2nd season. Of course, last year, everybody still talks about that once-in-a-lifetime infield of Caden Dogay at 3rd, who's the program's career home run hitter. Shortstop Shane Cooper, who's likely will be starting in the Tigers' AA organization. He was actually with the big league team in a split squad game. Of course, he was wearing number 67. He was at short, and the National Player of the Year, and Michael Hellman, who's currently on a 19-game hitting streak with Texas A&M. And then the glue of that entire team, and redshirt sophomore Brady Hoover. Really a once-in-a-lifetime type infield. Dragons had to replace all of that, and the growing process continues. Now Brett Mitchell, the left fielder. Mitchell grounded into a double play. Miguel Reyes would love to see another one here. First and second, 1 out. Cougars up 1-0. Pitch a little bit low. Nice stop by Stevens. Reyes has uncorked one wild pitch that Stevens had no chance on, but he stopped about at minimum 7 others that have kept Cougars at the bases where they're currently at. Crowd continues to grow here at Hobart-Detter. That's always good to see. 1-0. Fouled into the parking lot. 1-1 the count to Mitchell. Mitchell 2 for 8 in the series. Hobart-Detter finally starting to green up a little bit, and this is as best we've seen it all year. That early week rain really did a wonder for the grass here. The pitch just misses inside. 1-1. Reyes' movement on the back end of his pitches is unbelievable. When he harnesses that, he's going to be an incredible pitcher. Now the 2-1. Lifted to center, toward right center. Pretty well hit. Craig Williams going over. Dives and makes the catch. The ball just kept blowing away from him because of the wind. Tagging him up to third is Engroff, but Julian Ripp with the web gem out in right center. I'm not sure Zion Bolin really ever had a beat on it, but Julian Ribbs with a headfirst dive makes a wonderful catch. Engroff moves to third, but now with 2 out. Here's second baseman Brett Erickson. He flew out to Rip his first time up. So now first and third, 2 away with the Cougars leading 1-0. Reyes' pitch, a slider, a little bit low, ball 1. Dragon dugout, wondering where that pitch was. It's a pretty good looking pitch, but that call hasn't been there all day. That slider drops in. Maybe that was a little more of a changeup. He takes something off of it. It's a called strike, and it's 1-1. Now to Erickson. Reyes' pitch. High chopper to Ned Bennett short. Flips to Sartori for the force, and the inning is over. So a couple more runners get on for the Cougars, but Miguel Reyes equal to the task. No runs, no hits, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the third inning at Hobart-Detter Field. It's the Cougars 1 and the Dragons 0. Julian Rep to lead off the bottom of the third inning for Hutchinson, trailing Barton 1-0. 9-1-2 here in the Dragon third. Rip, Ned, Van and Sartori. Julian Rip hitting .211 for the year, 8 for 38, 4 home runs and 12 RBIs. First pitch swinging, and it's fouled out of play to the right for strike 1. Very pleased to be joined right now from the NJCA National Office, Ricky Webster, who's in town for the NJCA men's basketball tournament. Ricky, welcome.
Thanks, Steve. Glad to be here, and first time in Hutchinson, Kansas. Glad to get to know the lay of the land a little bit. Took in some great basketball this past week, and finally a little time off now to watch some baseball. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Rip lines one to right field, going back is Fowler. It's over his head and off the wall. Rip on his way to second and will pull up there with a leadoff double. He represents the tying run. That ball just kept carrying and got over Fowler's head. One off the wall. And Julian Rip gets his second double of the year. And the Dragons have a good start to the third. Back to the top of the order, and Dylan Nedved. So, Ricky works with the media and the sports information directors and has done a fantastic job in really upgrading the system. Not that it was a bad system before, but Ricky has some very innovative ideas that we've all been very pleased with and the way it works. There's a bunt foul by Nedved. So, Ricky, tell everybody a little bit about your background. I know you come from the NJCA National Office from Marshalltown, so tell us a little bit about the background.
Yeah, so I was a sports information director at Marshalltown Community College up in Region 11 in Iowa. Some great baseball up there, and we took on some teams from around the country, and we didn't get to play too many Kansas schools, but the Jayhawk Conference is always pretty dominant, not just in baseball, but in a majority of sports. It's great to be a SID. We're all one of a kind, and Steve Carpenter can praise that a little bit. But going to the national office has been great. You get to experience a lot more teams. You get to meet a lot more people. Coming down here to Hutchinson and seeing the department and how they operate down here, it's first class. I mean, between baseball today, the tournament going on, you guys got your hands full, but everything's run pretty smoothly this whole week, and it's just been great to see how you guys operate.
Well, it's 0-2 to Dylan Nedved. He's bunted a couple times, unsuccessful. Now sliced that last one foul. Julian Rippon second. He led off the inning with a double. Zach Curry comes set and delivers. Just misses inside. So the tournament this year, some fantastic games, some shockers. The number 1 overall seed, Indian Hills, goes down to the Barton Cougars. That was a heck of a ball game. So just your take on the basketball so far.
Yeah, it's been an electric crowd out there, with Barton winning those first couple games. They really brought it to the house, and that was pretty exciting. But it's nice to see fans from around the country travel and come support their junior college teams. It just shows the passion that a lot of people have for the NJCA, and it should be a really exciting game tonight. I think two of the best teams that are playing the best ball right now are in the national title game. You got Southern Idaho who's just shooting lights out. They had a great comeback last night, and South Plains, a very athletic team. It should be very exciting. It should be a great crowd out there, and you couldn't ask for a better atmosphere in the sports arena.
You bet. Dylan Nedved flies to right field, and Julian Ribbon moves up to third with one out. High chopper. This should get the game tied up. Clausen fields off the short hop and then throws Sartori out. But coming down the line to score is Julian Ripp, and we're tied at 1 as Logan Sartori drives in his 32nd run of the year. Now its base is empty, 2 away for Bobby Morganson. So, again, was this your first trip to Hutch? Have you ever been here before the tournament this year?
First time in Hutchinson.
What are your thoughts about the Salt City?
Oh, it's been quite the experience. It's great. I made the drive from Colorado Springs, where our national headquarters is. Took the 7-hour trip down to Kansas, and I love the drive. I love that scenic route coming all the way down. But just being here in Hutch and just seeing the community and the people that are involved, and even if their team's not in it, it's still they come out and support the tournament itself, and it's just there's some great people here, and my hat off to all the great volunteers that really take their time out for this whole week. I can tell they look forward to this each and every year. I'm sure it's a long wait, but once March rolls around, they're ready to roll for the tournament.
0-2 to Bobby Morganson. He takes it a little bit low. The Barton bench wanted it, didn't get the call, as Zach Curry delivers his 40th pitch. Logan Sartori's ground out scores Julian Ripp from third, and we're tied at a run apiece. 1-2. That one's hit the center field. Playable, though, for Harrison Denk. He's got it, and the inning's over. But the Dragons even it up. A leadoff double by Julian Ripp. He moves up on a flyout by Nedved and a ground out by Sartori. That's manufacturing a run in baseball. After 3, it is 1-0. We'll return with more with Ricky Webster right after this break. 1-1 the score through 3 innings. This one's scheduled for 7. The Blue Dragons and the number 13 ranked Cougars. Steve Carpenter with you. Nathan Light on the camera. The always interesting and never dull Brandon Sams running the control. How were the rocks last week, Brandon? Are they moved?
They're not all moved, but some are painted.
Interesting. Designated hitter Jared Maneth grounds, and it's bobbled by Crit Williams. And it'll be an error on third baseman Crit Williams. And the Dragon defense continues to have its moments. That is error number 70.
Hey, Carp, I know one more thing Brandon should have moved last weekend. The bag with the laptop in it.
Yes. We'll get to that story later. So leadoff man aboard the fourth on an error. And now the pitch kicks away, and that'll be a pass ball on Garrett Stevens. So an error on a pass ball, and just like that, things are slightly unhinged for the Blue Dragons. As the 11th pass ball charged to Garrett Stevens this year, now the go-ahead run already in scoring position. The pitch, a little bit low, 2-0. Again, talking with Ricky Rester from the NJCAA office. The streaming platform, NJCAA TV, it's really starting to take off for you guys. I know there was a lot of early complaints about the pay-per-view part of it, though. But the whole system seems to be getting better. Talk about the NJCAA TV a little bit.
Absolutely. They've done the guys over at Blue Frame Technology, Josh and Ben, they've done a fantastic job really making this, go to the next level. It's great to see a lot of, individual schools taking to it and using it for their home contests throughout the regular season. Our guys, they go all national championships. We cover a majority of them throughout the year, which is great, including the tournament this week here down in Hutch. But yeah, it's just great to be able to provide our fans with that opportunity to watch their games and, at a high quality level too. We're trying to work on the pay-per-view and, we want to be able to provide the best quality to all of our fans. And, we're not just a national organization. We have international students from all over the world. And the fact that their parents and their friends and family, they can tune in from around the world is great.
There's a bunt laid down by Clausen, fielded by Miguel Reyes. Sacrifice works 1-4. Logan Sartori covering the bag. And now Manis at third base with 1 out, and Harrison Dank the batter. Yeah, before, there are many years, the JUCO basketball championship was not on television. There have been years they tried to bring in kind of offshoot broadcast teams, and it really never worked. But the streaming part of it, and again, like you said, especially with internationals, people from all over, not only the United States, but the world really watching in. This really for the NJCAA is really the option for getting video out on our teams.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of great talented student athletes in all of our sports. And, for them to be able to go on, live television and, college coaches at the 4-year level, they get to see the success, the hard work that these kids put in. And just to get that opportunity to go to the next level, we want to showcase their talents. And, we think we've got a lot of great stories here. And putting it on NJCAA TV just allows that story to be told every day of the year.
That's a fly ball to center, drops in by Dank. Coming down the line to score is Maneth. An unearned run, but Barton takes the lead 2-1 on the RBI single by Harrison Dank. Thought maybe that Julian was going to get to it. Unable to, and then Dank was tagging, and he flew down the line to score. Now it's back to the top of the order, and Dawson Pomeroy, who is 1 for 2. One of the additions I liked, Ricky, was the selection show. Last year and last couple years, it was based over Twitter, and that's how the brack-ups and everything were disseminated. But this year, you guys tried something new. It's this ball 1 to Pomeroy, an actual selection show. Robert Williamson hosted it, and I thought it was a great success.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. Bigger and better. That's what we want to do every year. this was our first year doing it, and it was great to see that some of the teams, they had watch parties, and they got really excited. You saw some of those videos across social media, and some of those at-large teams. I mean, we're talking Barton here, and for those guys, they were right there on the bubble. They had a great year, and for them to get in and see their excitement, I mean, it was awesome that we could actually show that. And doing it on social media is one thing, but if we can do it better every year and come up with unique ideas to really showcase and tell our story, that's what we're all about.
Dawson Pomeroy flies out to shallow center. Dink was on the move, but return. He's now at first with 2 away, and that'll bring up Caden Fowler. 1 for 2, an RBI double in the first, and a strikeout in the second. So, obviously, your first trip to Hutch. This is your first trip to Hobart-Detter Field. What do you think of the old ball yard?
Love it. Being an SID, you watch all sports and you get to really love everything, but honestly, I'm a baseball guy through and through. Played my whole life, played throughout college ball, and I love baseball parks. The old school, just the facilities, and it's a great crowd out here today too. It's a beautiful day in March for baseball, and a couple Kansas teams, battling out. It's a 2-1 game right now, but you can tell these fans are really into it, and they couldn't ask for anything better.
Well, you want to stick around for one more half inning?
Sure, why not?
We'll take a quick break. Barton gets a run in the top of the 4th and leads Hutchinson 2-1. Garrett Stevens to lead off the bottom of the 4th as the Dragons once again trail. Now Barton leading 2-1, home half of the 4th. It is Stevens, Moritz, and Crit Williams due up here to face Zach Curry, who's allowed 1 run on 3 hits. Breaking pitch to Garrett, who singled his first time up. Again, speaking with Ricky Webster from the NJCAA, who's in town for, obviously, the national tournament up at the sports arena. And we talked a little bit about the championship game tonight. Let's talk about some of the surprises of that tournament. We'd already mentioned that Barton knocked off number 1 seeded Indian Hills. Bad year for number 1 seeds in March, with UMBC beating Virginia and then Indian Hills going down. What are some of the other surprises that kind of stuck out to you in the tournament?
That's March for you right there. Top seed, surprises, that's what you want. It's unfortunate any team has to lose. They battle all year, and our student athletes really compete, and they put in a lot of work. But seeing some of those at-large teams, Otero had a good run there. That was a tough break for them at the end, but they had a great season. But you look at the championship game tonight, you got a 10 seed and a 13 seed. You had some great seeds ahead of them, but those are 2 quality teams, even at a 13 and a 10. So I think tonight's championship game is a pretty big surprise, but, for those 2 teams, I think they expected to get here. So we're just hoping for a great game, and I'm expecting a lot of points.
Yeah, indeed. Garrett Stevens singles now. Ryan Ward's trying to bunt him up, and he fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. CSI is trying to become just the second team since the tournament field went to 24-team single elimination to win from the first round. That pitch misses a little below. Jones County in 2013 went 5 in a row and won the national tournament. That is not easy to do. The Dragons, to repeat, would have had to do that this year. But just the way the tournament breaks down, how you fall is where you either get a day off. Jones County actually hit it 5 in a row. Here's a bunt down by Moritz, fielded by third baseman Pomeroy. The throw pulled him off, and everybody is safe. That'll be a throwing error on the third baseman Pomeroy. Moritz will be credited with a sacrifice, and the Dragons have the first 2 on to start the 4th. So, from you don't have to answer the question, but being with the Iowa ties that you had, unhappy or happy that Indian Hills got knocked out?
It's Indian Hills. They've been a powerhouse program. They do a great job over there. Brett Monahan, their athletic director, Hank Blona, their head coach. They've done a tremendous job. They ran into a hot Barton team, and playing in front of their crowd, it really helped. And it was an exciting game. It's Indian Hills always battled with Marshalltown. We had some great games up there over the years, and they produced some high-level talent. But yeah, to see Barton go, and it was quite a surprise. But each team put a lot of hard work.
Crit Williams looking to bunt. First pitch was taken for a ball. Now he takes the next one for a ball, and the 50th pitch delivered by Zach Curry. It's 2-0. Curry, 50 pitches, 33 strikes. So right now Williams, who struck out his first time up. First baseman Carson Engruff way in on the grass. Here's the pitch. Bunt right back to the pitcher. Only play will be to first, though. Second baseman Brett Erickson covering, and the sacrifice works. 1-4. Thought maybe Curry would look at third. He just grabbed it and went to first right now. So, Rick, you say you're a baseball guy. What's your style? You like the power stuff? You like gap to gap, or you like the small ball?
I was a pitcher, so I like 0 runs on the board.
There you go. Spoken like a true pitcher. Now Zion Bolin. Chance to give the Dragons at least tie in the lead. Tying run at third base. Go ahead run at second. And he fouls the first pitch back. Zion's had some big hits this year. Infield back for the Cougars. That pitch in the dirt stopped by Moenar, and it is 1-1. So have you been to Grand Junction yet? Have you done the Grand Junction trip yet?
Not yet. I'll be out there in May. It'll be my first experience. So, I get to take in Hutch for the tournament, for the basketball tournament, and then the World Series out in Grand Junction, all in a couple months span. So I'm really looking forward to it. It
is a wonderful experience. It's been 7 years since we've been out there, and we enjoyed the heck out of it. Obviously, finishing third had something to do with it in 2010, and you'll love that experience out there. It's very, very unique. That slider misses outside, and it's 3-1 to Bolin, who can be very choosy now. Ryan Steckline on deck. Wouldn't be surprised if they are intentionally walking Bolin to get to a struggling Steckline. That's a shot up the middle, snagged by the shortstop Clausen. Throw on to first in time, but coming down the line to score and tie the game is Garrett Stevens. So they did challenge him, and Zion Bolin just about snuck that through, but we're tied at 2 on an RBI ground out. It'll be an unearned run to this point. And now Ryan Steckline, the batter. So as a pitcher, you got to appreciate defense like that. That saves at least a run for a pitcher, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Couldn't ask for anything more right there. Got to be strong up the middle, and, both teams here. Talking about your Hutch team from last year, that was, looking back at some of those guys, that was quite the infield.
That was a fun infield, and we still keep and Red. We're in touch with those two all the time. We're giving, especially Michael Hellman, all kinds of grief because that's just what we do. There's a strike to Steckline. It's 0-2. Real quickly, when he was with the Monarchs, our summer league team, I think I've told you this story. He had the girliest walk-up, so his dad and I switched to Gilligan's Island, and he ended up hitting a home run in his first at bat. That pitch in the dirt, Steckline wouldn't chase it. It's 1-2. And all summer long, we just kept switching up, show tune, TVs, and he played along with it great. But, man, what a season he had last year as the National Player of the Year.
Whatever worked for you, Baseball players, we're all a different breed, and, we stick to what works.
Steckline fights that pitch off. And it remains 1-2. So the Dragons continue to fight back. Same thing they did on Thursday. They got down early in both of those games up there. And didn't quite get that close in the first game. Lost 8-5. There's a swing and a miss. Steckline strikes out. Throw goes down, and the inning is over. But the Dragons get it back. Or that one run back. Ricky, my thanks to you.
Steve, thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
You guys do a great job down here. It's been, exciting to see how much work the the Blue Dragon department puts in here. You, Josh, all the guys around here. It thrives because of you guys. It's been exciting. So.
We appreciate it, and I know you're going to hang around here for a few more innings, but we'll see you at the sports arena tonight for the championship game.
Looking forward to it.
Dragons and Cougars tied 2-2 after 4. Back after this break. Ball one to Carson Engroff to start the fifth. There's a hard hit ball to left field down the line. This will go to the corner for extra bases. Getting to it is Morganson. And into second with the leadoff double is Carson Engroff. Butler's fifth hit of the game. And just like that, the Cougars jump right back on the Dragons. And Miguel Reyes, that was a mistake pitch. He left it right up over the plate. And Engroff drilled it right down the left field line for a double. And is the second extra base hit by the Cougars today. Fifth hit overall. They've out-hit Hutch 5-4. And now catcher Brett Bonar. It is 3, 4, and 5 here in the Cougar fifth. Breaking pitch taken a little bit low, ball one. That'll get some action going in the Blue Dragon bullpen as Matt Hopkins begins to loosen, a right-hander. Miguel hasn't pitched badly, but he has left some balls over the plate that Barton has just simply tattooed. Pitch in the dirt. And the catcher, Garrett Williams, keeps it in front of him. Pitching line for Miguel Reyes Jr., 4+ innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. He has struck out 2 and walked 3, also hit a batter, and has 1 wild pitch. Ground ball to the right side, slowly hits. Sartori charges. Underhand flips quickly to first in time, but moving up to third is Engroff. So Bonar moves the potential go-ahead run to third base with 1 out. Good play by Logan Sartori. And it will be Brett Mitchell, the left fielder. He's grounded into a double play and flown out to center 0 for 2. Mitchell now in the series 2 for 9. Infield in for the Dragons. First pitch swing is Mitchell, and he fouls it off. Again, this one's scheduled for 7. We're in the latter stages now, top of the fifth. The Dragons want to cut that run down and try to keep this game tied up. They have just continually battled from behind this entire series against Barton. Reyes' pitch. High chopper down the line. That's a fair ball. That'll score the run to throw across. Nice play by Crit Williams. Fielded it fair and threw it against his body. Coming down the line to score is Engroff, and just like that, Barton leads at 3-2. So another leadoff man gets aboard and scores. This seems to be the theme of the year. Now second baseman Brett Erickson. Base is empty, 2 away. He drops a butt down, right back to rest. Bobbles momentarily, but he flips to first, and the inning is over. So the leadoff double by Engroff. He comes around to score. Moves over to third on a ground out, scores on a ground out, just like the Dragons have been scoring runs. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Our new score, Cougars 3 and the Dragons 2. 9-1-2 in the Dragon fifth. Julian Rip, Dylan Nedved, and Logan Sartori. Rip doubled to lead off the third and scored to tie the game up. First pitch swinging, and Julian pulls it foul. That for Rip was his 9th hit of the year. And out of those 9, 7 have been for extra bases. Good breaking pitch from Zach Curry in for strike, and it's 0-2. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses high and away, and it's 1-2. Julian, a third-year sophomore. Pitch inside, and he fouls it off. Lives to battle again at 1-2. Curry working fast the pitch. That pitch in the dirt, a slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. 6 left on for Barton. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. 3 left on for the Blue Dragons. 2-2 pitch, got him swinging on a high fastball. And it's 1 away. Rip now 1 for 2. The line on Zach Curry to this point, 4 in the third innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned. He has struck out 4 and walked none. 67 pitches. Now it's the third time around the order. Here's Dylan Nedved. He's 0 for 2. Dylan working on a 6-game hitting streak. 13 for 28 over that streak. That's a 450 or 464 average, pardon me. Pitch missed low and away. 2-0. On deck, Logan Sartori. He's trying to extend a 10-game hitting streak. Ball's well hit to center field and deep. Dank going back. He's at the wall, looking up. It's gone. Solo home run for Dylan Nedved, and we tied up again at 3. Dylan Nedved with his first home run of the season, RBI number 13. And even with the wind blowing in, Dylan got every bit of it and got it out of the park to center field. So now we're tied at 3, and the scoreboard totals are as tight as you can get. Both teams 3, 5, and 1. So in a big way, Dylan Nedved extends his hitting streak to 7 games. Now Logan Sartori steps in. 0 for 2, but he does have an RBI grand up. First pitch swinging, he pops it up to the shallow left. Back is the shortstop Clausen. Now moving to his left a few steps. He's got it 1 away. So Sartori now 0 for 3. Here's Bobby Morganson. Now 113 career hits for Bob. Will be at Florida International University next year. Omaha Creighton Prep High School in Omaha, Nebraska. Many KU fans have infiltrated Omaha for the Elite 8 tomorrow. First pitch swinging. He's driven to center field. Dank to his right. Now in a little bit. He's got it. Dragons come out swinging aggressively. It turns out to be a very quick inning, but they tie it up. A solo one-out home run by Dylan Nedved to center field. Ties the game up. We head to the 6th, tied at 3. Jared Manis starts the sixth with a foul ball back to the screen. Again, my thanks to Ricky Webster joining us for a couple of innings. He's headed back to the sports arena to prepare for tonight's championship game. Southern Idaho and South Plains. Miguel Reyes just misses a little bit low, and it's 1-1. Dragons have trailed by 1 run 3 different times and have come back to tie it. Great pitch from Reyes, breaking pitch over the inner half, and it's 1-2. Dragons tied it up at 3 on Dylan Nedved's first home run of the year into the teeth of a wind to center field. 1-2 pitch. Breaking pitch. Loop to center. On the run is Julian Ripp. He won't get to it. And another leadoff batter reaches against Miguel Reyes. That is now 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 leadoff batters have reached. The first 3 have scored. Reyes facing the lower third of the Cougar order here in the 6th. Here's Paul Clausen, the shortstop, likely bunting. Charging at third base is Krill. There's a pitch. Bunted right back to Reyes. His only play will be to first. The sacrifice works 1-3, and now Manis in scoring position with 1 out. So both teams continue to execute the bunt game fairly efficiently. That is the, let me check for sure here. It's the second sacrifice for the Cougars. And now center fielder Harrison Dank. Manis at second, 1 away. Dank 2 for 2 with an RBI single. Dank drove in Manis in the 4th to give Barton a 2-1 lead at that point. Dank now 5 hits. No, I did not. Pinch runner at second base for Barton. And that is Billy Coleman. So he's pinch running for Manis. And it's a 1-0 count to Dank. That pitch in there for a strike. One and 1 the count to Dank. Off the plate, maybe a little bit high, and it's 2-1. Matt Hopkins continues to throw back of Miguel Reyes, who's battled. Two-one pitch. Big swing by Dank, foul off, and it's 2-2. We've watched Miguel Reyes today. He's had some very solid moments. He needs one right here. Here's the 2-2. Tapped in front to Reyes. He goes over to Steckline at first. Moving up to third is Coleman now with 2 out. That pitch just absolutely ate Dank up. It was well placed enough for Coleman to move to third, the pinch runner. And now Dawson Pomeroy, 1 for 3 with the run scored, steps in. The Dragons have had issues getting off the field with 2 outs, especially on the downward slides of this roller coaster, right? That pitch way outside. You've got Pomeroy with the first base open, but then you've got the hottest Cougar hitter standing in the on-deck circle in Caden Fowler. There's a strike from Reyes, and it's 2-1. That was pitch number 97. The Cougars about hit the Dragons 6-5. what sun there was is now gone behind complete cloud cover. It's got a little more chilly. Ooh, where was that pitch? Must be a little bit low, and it's 3-1. This for Reyes, he's been around the plate all afternoon. Hasn't gotten a ton of calls on the corners, but neither has Zach Curry. Here's the 3-1. Fastball fouled off to the left, and we've run the count full. They play Pomeroy in the infield to pull. 3-2 pitch. Fouled off again. That was pitch number 100. Mike Brown will get the start in game number 4 for Hutchinson. Wasn't able to talk to Brett Biggs for a game 4 starter for the Cougars. Renner at third. Reyes will go out of the windup. 3-2 pitch. Low ball 4. Didn't miss by much, and Miguel wanted that bad. You can see the way he reacted. So Miguel Reyes needs to recollect after that little outburst. Whether he got the call or not, need to keep his emotions with him as he faces Caden Fowler, an RBI double in the first. He is struck out and grounded out, 1 for 3. And I don't think the Dragons will pay any attention to Pomeroy if he would happen to take off. Ryan Schmidt now comes out of the dugout. Matt Hopkins is ready if Schmidt wants to go in that direction. It has been a gutty effort for Miguel Reyes. And I don't think he's going to go. This is right into the eyes of Miguel Reyes. This is a challenge for Ryan Schmidt to Miguel to pitch out of this inning. And at some point, a Dragon pitcher is going to have to excel in this for the Dragons to have a chance of success in 2018. The Dragons, we know, have the offense, even though a third of that, the middle third of the order is on the shelf with injuries. Right now, the Dragons just trying to survive this late stage of March without getting buried in the Jayhawk West. So Schmidt indeed stays with Miguel Reyes, and now we'll see how he accepts the challenge as he faces Caden Fowler. Again, Fowler in the series now 6 for 13, a home run, a double, 2 doubles actually, and 5 RBIs. Just missed a home run in the first, high off the right center field wall here at Hobart-Detter. Reyes' first pitch outside, ball 1. Carson Angroff on deck. He doubled his last at bat. Pomeroy gets away from first. Reyes comes set, now delivers the 1-0. Strike called, 1-1. Again, it's Matt Hopkins in the Dragon pen. Cougars looking to take the lead for the 4th time today. Runners at the corners, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th, tied 3-3. The pitch. Loop down the left field line, but foul. And now Reyes up in the count on Fowler. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So this is where we'll see where the maturation process of freshman Miguel Reyes is. See how he attacks here up in the count on 1-2. The pitch. Goes with a fastball and just misses. 2-2. That was a lightning pitch that just missed. Again, that hasn't been a strike all day. Kudos to our own plate umpire for keeping a very consistent zone. The pitch. Low full count. So Reyes went fastball low twice, just missed. Now it's a full count, 3-2. Pomeroy will break from first on the pitch. Brian Steckline won't hold him. Reyes comes set. Now the payoff to Caden Fowler. Called strike 3 and the inning is over. Totally fooled him, pitched backwards and threw a changeup and got Fowler looking. The go-ahead run stranded at third. A great pitch from Miguel Reyes, and he's excited heading into the dugout. No runs, a hit, and 2 left for the Cougars in the 6th. They've stranded 8 through 6 innings. On to the bottom of the 6th. We're tied at 3. A tie 1 at Hobart-Detter. Hutchinson 3 and Barton 3. And Miguel Reyes pitched out of a jam on the top of the 6th, dropping a 3-2 changeup for a called third on Caden Fowler. Nasty pitch. Got out of the jam. And the Blue Dragons now hit bottom of the 6th. It's Garrett Stevens. It's the middle third of the order. Stevens, Moritz, and Crit Williams. Garrett swings and misses. Garrett 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Blue Dragon softball playing down in Fort Scott. They're into the 3rd inning in southeast Kansas as Stevens swings and misses. Trails in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Fort Scott with the early 1-0 lead on the Blue Dragons. Here's the 0-2. Got him to swing on 3 pitches. So Zach Curry continues to deal. That was his 5th strikeout against no walks. 5 in the 3rd innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. With a total of 74 pitches. Now it's Ryan Moritz. 0 for 2. He reached on an error on a sacrifice attempt. He's actually 0 for 1. And he takes ball 1. There is action in the Cougar bullpen. The 1-0 to Moritz. Up the middle. That's in the center for a hit. Ryan gets his first hit. Hits are now tied at 6. And Zach Curry had no chance to get a glove on that one. That was smoked back up the box. Now Crit Williams. Crit 0 for 1. A strikeout and a sacrifice bunt. He moved Garrett Stevens and Brian Moritz up a base. That tied the game in the 4th on Zion Boland's RBI ground out. And it's ball 1 to Crit. Dragons, this is the start of a 5-game homestand for Hutchinson. The pitch. That's up the middle. Basta diving Erickson into center field for a hit. So the Dragons have 2 on and 1 out. Crit Williams gets his first hit. And now Brett Biggs heads to the mound. For the first time today, the Blue Dragons have the edge in hits at 7-6. We have seen Dawson Pomeroy pitch twice in this series. Obviously, that's not him warming up, as he is at third base. And I think we are, at least the way the Cougar dugout is reacting, I think we're going to have a pitching change. And indeed we will. We'll tell you about the new Cougar pitcher after this. Dragons have 2 on and 1 out in a 3-3 game here in the 6th inning. This is Blue Dragon Baseball. Right-hander Tanner Howell comes out of the Cougar bullpen for head coach Brett Biggs. Howell is a 6-foot, 170-pound freshman from Overland Park. The numbers on Tanner Howell. He's in for the 13th time, 12th appearance out of the bullpen. 2-0 with 2 saves and a 1.13 earned run average. Howell has pitched 16 innings, allowed 13 hits, 4 runs, 2 have been earned. A very fine 5+1 strikeout to walk ratio, 16 strikeouts to 3 walks, but he has given up a home run. Howell pitches for the second time in the series. He pitched in the Game 2 13-12 Barton win on Thursday. Allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 4 and walked 1. He'll navigate the lower third of the order with Zion Bolin followed by Ryan Steckline. Ryan Moritz and Crit Williams both singled up the middle. Potential go-ahead run is Moritz at second base with 1 out. Infield back all the way around for the Cougars. For Zion Bolin, he's 0 for 2 with a ground out. There's a fly ball to the left. Moving over is Mitchell, makes the catch. And a very aggressive but maybe not smart swing by Bolin, swinging on the first pitch. And now there's 2 out. It'll take a 2-out knock from Ryan Steckline. Rhino 0 for 2. A ground out and a strikeout. He is doing the series. Steckline now 0 for 11 in the series. Third baseman Dawson Pomeroy playing a very deep third, as is first baseman Carson Engelgroff. Breaking pitch from Howell misses inside, ball 1. The Blue Dragons, just an aggressive swinging team, but you kind of got to play the situation as well. And I don't think Zion did. The pitch popped up. Bonar toward the dugout, may have a play, but it lands out of play. That's a ball on the strike to Ryan Steckline, so new life for Rhino as he tries to give the Blue Dragons the lead here in the 6th inning. Like to get a run for Miguel Reyes. He's battled. He's kept the Dragons in the game with some very clutch pitching. Now let's see if the Dragons can get a clutch 2-out hit from Ryan Steckline. Swings and misses that off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2. Bundled up crowd here at Hobart-Detter. It's not all together warm with the wind. Temperatures into the 60s, but it doesn't feel like it. Moritz at second, Williams at first to pitch. Hard hit ball to short. It's bobbled, and everybody's going to be safe. It'll be an error on Paul Clausen, and the Dragons stay alive in the inning. The second error charged to the Cougars this afternoon. It was a hard hit one-happer right at Clausen, and it just chewed him up. So Moritz moves up to third, Williams to second, Steckline at first for Julian Ripp. Ripp 1 for 2. A leadoff double and a run scored in the third, and he struck out his last time. So the Dragons have the bases loaded. See if they can take advantage of the error. Julian Ripp swings and misses at a slow slider from Howe for strike 1. The pitch. Another slider. Ground ball to third, fielded by Pomeroy. He looks a second, but goes over to first, and they call him out on a close play. I thought Julian Ripp might have beat it out, but no argument from the Blue Dragons, and the Dragons leave them loaded in the 6th. We head to the 7th inning. Dragons 3 and the Cougars 3. Blue Dragon softball has tied up Fort Scott 1-1 in the fourth. Greyhounds hitting home half of the fourth. Here we have defensive changes as Dylan Nedved is the new pitcher. His numbers at the moment. Crit Williams moves from third to short, and Ryan Moritz, the designated hitter, now takes over at third base. Top of the seventh inning here at Hobart-Detter, 3-3 the score. And Dylan Nedved starts Carson Engroff with strike one. It's Engroff, Bonar, and Mitchell here in the Cougars seventh. 3, 4, and 5 in the order. Nedved's pitch. Foul out of play, 0-2. Dylan Nedved making his second appearance of the series. He's 8th overall, 1-0. No ERA, 1 save, 8 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, all unearned, 7 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Opponents hitting 188 against. 0-2 just off the plate. One ball and 2 strikes. So Miguel Reyes goes 6 innings, 6 gritty innings. He'll get a no decision. 1-2 from Nedved. Wouldn't chase the slider, and it's 2-2 to Engroff. Engroff is 1 for 2. A walk and a double, a run scored. 2-2. Slice foul again, off to the right. Nedved was the pitcher. He came into Thursday's game 2 in the 12th inning with bases loaded and nobody out and gave up the game-winning hit. 2-2 pitch. Misses low and away, full count. So again, Moritz at third. Crit Williams moves from third to second. Here's the pitch. Hit to right field. Bolin on the move. He chases it down for the first out of the Cougars' seventh. Nice play by Zion Bolin on a slicing line drive off the bat of Engroff. 1 away now for catcher Brett Bonar. Bonar has walked twice and grounded out 0 for 1. Bonar now in the series 5 for 10. The pitch. A little bit low, ball 1. Both dugouts into it. You can hear it. 1-0 pitch. Bat comes flying out of Bonar's hands and is popped up toward the Dragon dugout, and Ryan Moritz runs out of room. The bat went sailing to the right of Brett Bonar, and the ball went left. Haven't seen a bat toss like that in quite some time. At least not on purpose, anyway. Jose Batista's chucked a few bats on home runs about that far. The 1-1 from Nedved. Over but low for a ball, 2-1. The consequences of the game. Barton would strengthen their, if Barton wins, they would strengthen their lead in the Jayhawk. Now back 2-2. And would put the Blue Dragons a game further back. They would be 4 games back of the Cougars with 1 game remaining. A win would give the Blue Dragons a chance at a split and stay right in the thick of the race. Pitch from Nedved upstairs, full count. Wind continues to blow in. Payoff from Nedved. Lost him, a 1-out walk. And that's the go-ahead run in Bonar. That'll bring up Brett Mitchell, the left fielder. Mitchell is 0 for 3. Grounded into a double play, inning double play in the first. Flew out in the third and had an RBI ground out to Crit Williams in the fifth. That gave Barton a short-lived 3-2 lead before Dylan Nedved homered in the bottom half of the fifth to tie it up. The pitch. Lifted to right field down the line, but it's hooking foul and out of play. The wind is definitely blowing into the press box. Typical March in Kansas. And very much looking forward to the calendar turning to April. Good lead over at first by Bonar. Here's the pitch. That's a hard hit ground ball in the left field. It's 2 on and 1 out in the Cougars in the 7th. Hits are now tied at 7 apiece. Mitchell gets his first hit of the afternoon, his 3rd of the series, and now it's Brett Erickson, the second baseman. Erickson is 0 for 3. He reached down to fielder's choice in the 4th. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Middle infield for the Dragons, a double play depth. Third baseman Ryan Moritz about 3 steps behind the bag and off the line. Ryan Steckline standing in front of the runner at first. Swing and a miss, good pitch from Nedved, and it's 1-1 to Erickson. Dragons do have last at bat. Nedved comes set and now delivers. Ground ball to Sartori at second. Flips to second for 1, on to first. Safe. Just beat it out. Sartori had a little bit of a bobble when they got to fourth, but now the go-ahead run at third base with 2 outs. And we have a new designated hitter into the game. As Manis was pinch hit for, it'll be Trenton Ferguson. So Ferguson, the new DH. This is Ferguson's first at-bat of the series. Nedved's pitch. Late swing, and it's shot right into the fencing of the Cougar dugout. Or is it? The corner's 2 away. Ferguson hitting .450 for the year, 9 for 20. There's a strike from Nedved. He has a home run and 6 RBIs, but he's down to the count here. No balls and 2 strikes to Dylan Nedved. 0-2. Misses upstairs. Good 0-2 pitch. Now it's a ball and 2 strikes to Ferguson. Outfield straight away in moderate depth. 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner, and Dylan Nedved does the job. Getting Ferguson to strike out. Looking, Cougars leave 2 more. Now stranded 10 through 7 innings. We head to the bottom of the 7th here at Hobart-Detter Field. Dragons 3 and the Cougars 3. We head to the bottom of the 7th at Hobart-Detter Field. Hutchinson 3 and Barton 3. The Dragons looking to walk off, and they get the top of the order to face Tanner Howe. Dylan Nedved, Logan Sartori, and Bobby Morganson. First pitch swinging is Nedved, and he pops it into shallow right. In comes Caden Fowler, and he's got it for the first out. So the Dragons have become increasingly aggressive on the first pitch. Has had a couple of bad swings. Now Logan Sartori, who's trying to extend a 10-game hitting streak, 0 for 3. Sartori over that hitting streak has been extremely hot as he swings and misses. 23 for 45, a 5.11 average in that hitting streak. 5 home runs, 17 RBIs, 23 runs. Right now, you just like to get on base. That slider from Howell misses low and away, and it's 1-1. These two teams have gone extras already once in this series. Another slider from Howell misses. Sartori wouldn't chase, and it's 2-1 to Sartori. Outfield shallow in center and left. Sartori takes the slider and is hit with the pitch. Now one of the Dragons' best base runners on base. Sartori has 9 steals and 10 attempts. And Bobby Morganson will be the batter. A great hit and run opportunity, although Morganson's best power is to left center field. The Cougars will play Morganson to pull, but left fielder Brady Mitchell is more toward the gap, which takes that gap away from him. Huge hold on the left field line. The pitch to Morganson, off speed for a strike, and that hasn't been a strike all day long. That has not been a strike all day long. 0-1 to Morganson. Sartori is safe lead over at first. Howe comes set, doesn't go. That pitch misses outside, and it's 1-1. Howe tried to get a little more of that corner he got on the previous pitch. Couldn't buy the call. Now it's 1-1. Move over to first. Sartori back in with the head first dive. Dragons yet to attempt a steal today. Again, Sartori, the team leader, 9 out of 10. The pitch. Off speed, swung over the top and missed, and it's 1-2 to Morganson. So now, Howe and Nedved are the pitchers of record. Both starters pitched well, but get no decisions today. And Hutchinson's Miguel Reyes and Barton's Zach Curry. The pitch. Outside for a ball, and it's 2-2. Sartori keeps edging that lead out ever so slightly. Bonar, a very good throwing arm behind the plate. Howe comes set and delivers. Slow ground ball to second. They go to the second for one. On to first. Not in time. Morganson beats it out. So a slowly hit 4-6 fielder's choice, and the Dragons still have life here in the bottom of the 7th. Now Garrett Stevens. Stevens a couple of hits today, 2 for 3. Pair of singles. Morganson is 6 for 6 in steals. For a great portion of the early stages of the season, he was the team leader in steals. There's a little looper in the left field. That's down for a hit. Morganson will go just as far as second. So it's a 3-hit game for Garrett Stevens. That is his 4th 3-hit game of the year. And Brett Biggs will head out to the mound to talk strategy with Tanner Howe and his entire infield. Ryan Moritz will be the batter, hitting from the left side, so it's a lefty-righty matchup. And with Howe being a 3/4 arm delivery arm slot guy, that really gives a left-hander like Moritz a pretty good look at the ball. There is no action in the Barton pen. So it will be Howe versus Moritz here with the game on the line. The Dragons looking for their first win of the series. Moritz has had a flair for the dramatic this year. He had a pinch hit grand slam down at Northeast Texas that Hutchinson ultimately won in extra innings. Would love to walk off here. How comes set the pitch? First pitch up the middle. That's a base hit. We're going to send Morganson around third. Here comes the throw, and the Blue Dragons win it. Ryan Moritz with the walk-off single, and the Dragons stay alive in the series with a walk-off base hit by Ryan Moritz and win it 4-3. 2-out damage. And the Blue Dragons have gotten their clutch win. Now they got to go after another one. Moritz with an RBI single scoring Bobby Morganson, and the Blue Dragons win it 4-3. We'll wrap it up right after this. Welcome back to Hobart-Detter Field, everybody. The Blue Dragons come from behind and ultimately walk it off to defeat the Barton Cougars 4-3 as Ryan Moritz singles up the box. And Bobby Morganson scores from second base in the bottom of the second inning. Dragons get their first win of the series. Now go after a split as the 9-inning game coming up shortly here at Hobart-Detter Field. Steve Carpenter with you on the post-game show. Here are the totals for the just completed game. For the Blue Dragons, 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 6 left on base. For the Cougars, 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, 10 left on. The winning pitcher is Dylan Nedved. Pitched the 7th inning in relief. Picks up his second win of the year. He's 2-0. Tanner Howell gets the loss. He suffers his first setback of the year. He drops to 2-1. And the game took 1 hour and 58 minutes to complete. The Blue Dragons improved to 15-12 overall, 8-7 in league play. Barton drops to 22-6, 8-3 in the conference. So the Dragons and the Cougars now tied in the win column, but still 4 games separate the two teams in the loss column. So Hutchinson right now trails by 2 games in the Jayhawk West standings. We'll get some scores between innings. Barton had 3 one-run leads, but the Blue Dragons kept coming back in the trailing 1-0 in the 3rd inning. Julian Ripp led off with a double and eventually scored on Logan Sartori's ground out. Barton had a 2-1 lead in the 4th. The Dragons came back with an unearned run as Zion Boland's ground out scored Garrett Stevens. Dragons trailed 3-2 in the 5th. And then Dylan Nedved hit a solo home run to tie it up at 3. Dylan Nedved pitched out of a minor jam in the 7th, and then with 2 out, this is how the 7th broke down. Nedved flew out to right. Logan Sartori was hit by a pitch. Bobby Morganson then hit into a 4-6 fielder's choice. Morganson was at first base with 2 outs. Garrett Stevens looped a single down the left field line, runners at first and second. And on the first pitch from Tanner Howell, Ryan Moritz smacked one up the box. Bobby Morganson beat the throw home from center fielder Harrison Dink, and the Blue Dragons capture a 4-3 victory. Miguel Reyes pitched gutty in a no-decision performance. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. He struck out 3 and walked 4. Dylan Nedved allowed a hit and a walk, but struck out 1 in 1 inning of scoreless work to get the victory. Offensively, the Blue Dragons were led by Garrett Stevens' 3-for-4 performance, 3 singles. Ryan Moritz was 2 for 3 with an RBI, the game-winning RBI. Dylan Nedved had a home run. Julian Ripp also doubled. Those were the only 2 extra base hits in the game. So the Dragons get the game 1 win 4-3 and now go after the series split in the 9-inning game coming up. Mike Brown will start that one. That's going to wrap up for game number 1. You will have to switch links to get to game number 2. And we'll be back in about 15 to 20 minutes with that broadcast. For Nathan Light on the camera, Brandon Sams running the control, Steve Carpenter from Hobart-Detter Field. Again, we'll talk to you in about 20 minutes. Final score of game number 1 today, Hutchinson 4, Barton 3. We'll talk to you soon. So long, everybody.